After careful analysis,
That's why you're on.
Yo, what's going on?
And he's like,
shut up.
shut up. But like,
hello, this is Dr.
Damn, that's sick.
Analysis in obedience to governing mandates and pursuant to the rule of law. This court has determined that the only lawful sentence that permits entry of a judgment of conviction without encroaching upon the highest office in the land is an unconditional discharge, which the New York State Legislature has determined is a lawful and permissible sentence for the crime of falsifying business records in the first degree.
yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Donald Trump has finally been sentenced for his 34 felony counts in the hush money trial. He is officially a convicted felon. And for his
Are you feeling all right? No, I feel weird. My stomach was acting up for a little while, and a little nasally, and my eyes are burning. I don't know if I picked something up when I went to the grocery store.
his crimes, he will face no punishment. Hey, it's a start. But given the context, which we will discuss, it was probably the best the court could do. By now, you're probably aware in 2016, Trump's fixer secretly paid off his mistress in order to stop the story of their affair from becoming public during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. It worked. Trump was elected president. In 2024, a New York jury convicted Trump of falsifying business records to conceal the true nature of the payments to his fixer. Judge Juan Merchan scheduled Trump's sentencing for July 11, 2024. Then the Supreme Court's noxious presidential immunity decision in Trump versus United States temporarily halted all the cases against Trump. Judge Merchan rescheduled the sentencing for September 2024. But then Trump argued that the court should postpone the hearing again because being sentenced on 34 felonies could hurt his chances of being reelected president. Trump had publicly attacked Judge Merchan's daughter as a dangerous Democrat and Trump hater, and Judge Merchan said, quote, to avoid the appearance of impropriety, he rescheduled the sentencing for after the election. And once again, Trump's gambit worked. He won the election. However, Judge Merchan now faced the unprecedented situation of sentencing a president-elect to probation, jail, or something else. Judge Merchan rescheduled Trump's sentencing for January 10, 2025, and said Trump could appear virtually rather than in person. Notwithstanding, Trump filed several motions to try to derail the sentencing. On January 3rd, 2025, Judge Merchan denied Trump's motion to dismiss the indictment for falsifying business records. The defense argued that Trump had presidential immunity, that prosecutor Alvin Bragg committed misconduct, and that the judge made various legal errors. Judge Merchan found those claims unsubstantiated. The judge emphasized the importance of respecting jury verdicts and rejected alternate remedies like delaying sentencing or dismissing charges.
Hey VG, could you critique my bench? It is the first time I hit 315 for 10 reps. I'm still grinding for 405 PR one day.
I can certainly do that for you. Thanks for the big donation, David.
Bubble Boy Gaines needs to live like my nigga Jake Gyllenhaal. Just troll around like a fucking hamster because every germ you come into contact with wants to fuck you. Maybe you need to do some Kiefer nose blats.
Hard to show the world what you're made of. When you're
Oh man, I remember that fucking Jake Gyllenhaal.
allergic to just about everything.
Ah, gross!
But she's about to marry the wrong man.
Married, and I have to stop the wedding.
That's so beautiful. I too once loved another.
You did?
And with a little help from his new friends, he just
What the fuck? Beetlejuice was in this?
might find a way to make his dreams come true.
Dude, I remember even back when I was a kid watching that trailer, that looked like the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. But yeah, it's funny, I know of that movie. I didn't recall Jake Gyllenhaal being in it. It's pretty funny. Thanks for the donation, Alu.
Tangerine, pineapple.
Well, thanks for the donation, Raw Vegan Cowboy. I appreciate that. Alright, let's take a look at this. You're holding the bar wrong. And I would say wrong. Because it's just objectively worse than holding it properly. So your thumb should be over the bar. Doing this just causes you to have less stability and less control over the bar. So you want to have the bar pretty low down on your palm, as low as you can get it. And you might like having the bar come in at an angle, so the bar crosses like around the bottom of the outside of your palm and then up through the thumb. That's a very stable grip. And you might want to like pinch the bar with the tips of your fingers. Some people like doing that, and it kind of makes sense. If you have bigger hands, that might feel a bit awkward, but you might want to try that. So I would try to change your grip and not have your thumb along the bar like that. Yeah, nice job, dude. The only other thing I'd really change is I would try to get a bigger arch on the bench. You're sitting pretty flat. You should be able to get a bigger arch because you are very, very flat on the bench. I also can't see I don't see like a full view of what you're doing with your legs, but you might also, kind of depends on what equipment you're training with. Like if you're working out at a commercial gym, you might not be able to do it because like most of their equipment sucks. But if the bench is long enough, I generally recommend squeezing the bench with your legs, kind of like when you're on a motorcycle, you squeeze the motorcycle with your legs. It just helps with stability. If you have something to brace your body against, again, you're just going to be able to be more stable, and it helps with producing force. If your knees are just pointed outwards and your legs aren't attached and gripping onto anything, you can start wobbling a little bit. So if the bench is long enough, I would try to like actually squeeze your legs against the bench. You should be able to bench 405 at this point if you did a strength phase, because I did 315 for a set of 9, and then I transitioned to a strength phase, and then I got, 410. So if you can do 315 for 10, you should be able to get 405, and you're also pretty fucking massive. Like, you're really fucking jacked, so if you transition to a strength phase, you should be able to get at least 405. Assuming you can be injury-free and everything, you should be able to hit it no problem. But, yeah, good work, man. That is very impressive. 315 for 10 is very hard to do. You can't squeeze the bench at a powerlifting meet? Are you sure about that? I've never heard of that rule.
I'm at a college lecture and I'm bored AF.
Tell the professor Vegan Gains thinks you're a gay bitch and he wants to fight you. That would probably make things entertaining. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Dude.
To be fair, most marriages are trash anyway, so maybe stopping to our wedding would not be such a bad thing after all.
Yes. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
In fact, in the case of child marriages, more people should try to stop that regardless of what the disc-suiting conservatives say.
Yeah, I think all child marriages should be banned. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Entirely.
Oh.
And the decision upholds the jury's.
What's going on here, Gum Gum? Do you want to hang out? Oh, how come you're over there? Do you want to come on my lap? Hey, Gum Gum. You know you have the most beautiful kitty paws? Yeah. You have such nice kitty toes. Gum Gum has the biggest, most beautiful kitty paws I have ever seen. He was meowing at me and he was hungry and he was asking for his num num, and then I gave Gum Gum his num num and now he's happy. CDG Donate Tellers, hey Richard, how's it going? I got back from work earlier in college a minute ago. Now I'm eating. What have you been up to today? I shoveled the driveway, took out the trash, got groceries, shoveled the driveway again because it snowed a lot. Then I started feeling sick, and I tried to finish watching Howard the Duck. I got through like half the movie last night. And then I started feeling sleepy again. So I paused the movie, took a nap, then I woke up again. And then I finished watching the movie. And now I'm here. Thanks for the donation, CDG.
Unanimous conviction. Judge Mershon wrote, quote, defendant argues that his contributions to the city and the nation are too numerous to count. This court agrees that defendant served his country as president and will do so again in a matter of weeks. However, that service is but one.
Why do all the Punisher movies suck? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because everyone's a gay retard, and all the people in Hollywood who are making movies now are gay retards. And they know if they want to make movies for gay retards, they have to not make them too violent. They didn't even read any of the fucking Punisher comics, so all they know is he wears a shirt with a skull on it and shoot people. And then it ends up being garbage. You know, because they can't have the Punisher actually being the Punisher and, you know, go into his philosophy of why he's fighting crime, why he does what he does. They can't have him torturing people. They can't have any realistic blood or mutilation where he slices people's throats open, blows people's heads off with shotguns, cuts people's fingers off, you know, anything cool that would actually make the movie interesting and accurately reflect the character. So everything is toned down, made stupid and boring and lame, because that's what people want to watch, apparently. Or that's what they think people want to watch, so yeah. Thanks. Oh wait, I don't think you donated, did you?
And on top of that, any child who is married to an adult should be divorced by force.
I think any adult who marries a child should have their head blown off. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
One of the considerations to weigh under this factor. Despite defendants' unrelenting and unsubstantiated attacks against the integrity and legitimacy of this process, individual prosecutors, witnesses, and the rule of law, this court has refrained from commenting thereon unless required to do so, as when ruling on motions for contempt of court. But since Trump's character was a factor in the sentencing, the judge commented, quote, "Defendant's disdain for the third branch of government, whether state or federal, in New York or elsewhere, is a matter of public record. Indeed, defendant has gone to great lengths to broadcast on social media and other forums his lack of respect for judges, juries, grand juries, and the justice system as a whole." In the case at bar, despite repeated admonitions, this court was left with no choice but to find the defendant guilty of 10 counts of contempt for his repeated violations of this court's order restricting extrajudicial statements. In the case at bar, despite repeated admonitions, this court was left with no choice but to find the defendant guilty of 10 counts of contempt for his repeated violations of the court's order restricting extrajudicial statements order, findings which by definition mean the defendant willingly ignored the lawful mandates of this court, an order which defendant continues to attack as unlawful and unconstitutional, despite the fact that it has been challenged and upheld by the Appellate Division, First Department, and the New York Court of Appeals no less than 8 times. And Judge Merchan observed that Trump is a big fat liar, quote, "Defendant's arguments that the people committed egregious misconduct by eliciting certain testimony from Mr. Cohen and Ms. Daniels is unsupported, and his arguments mischaracterize the record." And Trump attacked his conviction on the basis that, quote, "more than half of the potential jurors purportedly self-identified as unable to be impartial as proof of an unfair system." But those prospective jurors were dismissed. Judge Merchan explains why Trump's claim is nonsense. Quote, "First, it is standard practice for this court to ask prospective jurors at the start of every trial to self-identify if, based solely upon what they've heard about the case, up to that point they have reason to believe that they cannot be fair and impartial, or if they cannot serve for any other reason. Thus, while not particularly significant, we do not know how many prospective jurors self-excused because they doubted their ability to be fair, and how many self-excused for some other reason, such as travel plans, childcare responsibilities, or a..."
Bart K fan donates $2. Why video game addiction is common amongst men and very rare amongst women. Pretty sure rates of addiction in general are lower in women across the board, so that would include like alcohol, drugs, so there may just be, you know, genetic and social factors that make women less prone to addiction in general. And video games are kind of a male-dominated hobby, so just based on the sheer number of men who play video games versus the number of women who play video games, there's going to be an absolute higher amount of men who end up being addicted to video games. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Also, you like that Howard the Duck movie that's weirdly considered one of the worst movies of all time. Hell, it was even nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst Picture.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I saw some clips of it and I thought it looked funny. The first 30 minutes roughly were good. Especially the opening. There's like a bunch of duck tits and stuff. It was kind of funny, and then it was like super fucking boring throughout the rest of the movie. Just nothing happened, and I mean, they should have kept up with the gag. I was waiting for Howard the Duck to have sex with that human girl, and for whatever reason, even though they had duck tits at the right at the opening of the fucking movie, they didn't go for it. I don't know, like, why. I don't know. It was such a weird, stupid movie. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Scheduled medical procedure. More importantly, a jury panel where half its members self-identify as not confident in their ability to serve for whatever reason is not entirely uncommon, and their departure left us with those members of the panel who believed they could serve. Now, Judge Merchan should have been able to sentence Trump last summer, but the Supreme Court gummed up the works by issuing a bombshell decision in Trump versus United States that former presidents cannot be federally prosecuted for official actions taken while in office. And Trump's team then argued that the ruling gave him presidential immunity, and thus the New York case should be dismissed, even though most of Trump's illegal actions happened before he became president. Nevertheless, Justice Merchan went to great lengths to avoid the appearance of impropriety, asserting that even though Trump got a fair trial, sentencing him could be considered problematic for the election. Now, in a prior video, we criticized the decision to delay Trump's sentencing until after the election, and Trump's lawyers argued that if he was sentenced before the election, Trump's chances of winning would be diminished. And Trump appealed to the Supreme Court, attempting to assert president-elect immunity, as if near total immunity while being president wasn't enough, but in a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court did not intervene. So the sentencing proceeded as scheduled. Well, not as originally scheduled, but as later scheduled. And at the sentencing, Trump was sentenced to unconditional release. No fines, jail, probation, or community service. So while the case is over and Trump doesn't really receive any real punishment, he will have 34 felonies on his record. At least unless it's removed on appeal. But prosecutor Joshua Steinglass said, quote,
"This defendant has caused enduring damage to public perception of the criminal justice system and has placed officers of the court in harm's way."
And one of the most interesting moments was when Steinglass revealed that the pre-sentence investigation report concluded that Trump sees himself as above the law and takes no responsibility for his actions. But Steinglass said the prosecutor,
"Why did you want to see a bird and a human making love, and why the hell do you find duck tits funny? It's fucking gross. Even Doug Walker thought so himself."
Oh no, it's a quake.
Don't you mean a quack? His chair starts to shake and rumble as he's propelled backwards through his apartment building, flying through dozens and dozens of walls until we see... Oh my god. It can't be. That cannot be real. That cannot be real! Is there any point in reviewing the rest of the movie? I mean, you know I'm not going to be able to top that.
Like, I thought it was funny, especially for that kind of movie, like Duck Tits. It's stupid, but yeah, if they were willing to go there, I don't understand why they got cold feet with having Howard the Duck have a romantic relationship with a human woman. It was really, really weird. The movie just completely ran out of steam within the first, like, 20-30 minutes. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Prosecution agreed that the appropriate sentence was unconditional release. The, quote, "American people have the right to a presidency unencumbered by the continuing demands of any alternative sentence." Frankly, I think the American people deserve a presidency encumbered by punishment for one's past crimes, but, you know, who's counting? And yeah, apparently, I guess if you're elected president, you can do whatever you want with the world's worst cadre of lawyers. But if you have a legal issue, you will want a actual great lawyer. In my law firm, the Eagle Team, you need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. So click below. Attorney Todd Blanche spoke on Trump's behalf. He argued that Bragg only charged Trump to interfere with the election. He said the American people decided the case never should have been filed, and that while he concurs with the court's sentence, Trump will still appeal. Then Trump addressed the court himself. Trump said he was innocent because he correctly labeled the payments as legal expenses.
The falsification of business records, as they said, was calling a legal expense.
Death of a Rabbit, donate $2. What area of my back should I focus on? Thickness, width, specific muscles? No, you're not the guy to ask about this. But best way to reach a 180-pound weighted pull-up. That's my lifetime goal. Also, I'm glad you've calmed down with this red pill shit. Okay. Well, if you want to get good at pull-ups, you're just going to have to do pull-ups. And just other vertical pulling movements. That's what's going to increase your pull-up strength more than anything. So, yeah, just start doing weighted pull-ups, lat pull-downs, chin-ups, neutral grip pull-ups. Just keep focusing on increasing those lifts. Those are going to have the most transferability to a weighted pull-up. But thanks for the donation, Death of Rabbit. Death of Rabbit donated $2. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, your back looks fine, but if you want to get a 180 1 rep max weighted pull-up, then again, you're just going to have to increase your pull-up strength. So just keep gradually increasing the amount of weight you can do with weighted pull-ups and do the, accessory exercises I told you about. Thanks for the donation, though, Death of a Rabbit.
Expense in the books where everybody could see them, a legal expense. In other words, that legal fees or legal expense were put down as legal expense by accountants.
Trump said that legal experts like Alan Dershowitz and other experts like Tucker Carlson concluded he didn't do anything wrong. And he slammed Michael Cohen as a liar and also said he's no George Washington. And Trump also bragged about winning all 7 swing states. Trump also noted he's still under a gag order, quote, "I assume I'm still under a gag order, but the fact is I'm totally innocent." Justice Merchan.
Supreme Ruler Richard, we are now in negotiations with Hamas, as you may have heard on CNN. I made a threat I would carpet bomb them indiscriminately like the US did to Japan during World War II and threaten a second D-Day-like invasion.
All right, just, make sure you put them in their place. Thanks for the donation, Benedict Arnold.
Waxed poetic about the trial and the jury and the procedures and praised the jurors for their work.
The same burden of proof was applied, and a jury made up of ordinary citizens delivered a verdict. And it was all conducted pursuant to the rules of procedure and guided by the law. Of course, part of what made it feel somewhat ordinary was the outstanding work, preparation, and professionalism of the clerks, court officers, court reporters, security personnel, and the entire staff of this building who did their jobs as they would with any other criminal trial.
And Merchan said that the protections afforded to the president are given to the office holder, not to the occupant personally.
It is the legal protections afforded to the office of the President of the United States that are extraordinary.
I mean, if I wanted to see and burden a human making love, I would just listen to the Rubber Duckies song from Sesame Street.
I don't know.
Well, here I am in my tubby again, and my tubby's all filled with water and nice fluffy suds. And I've got my soap and washcloth to wash myself.
If humanoid ducks like Howard the Duck existed in real life and they made PR0N like humans do, would you watch it, or would it be considered pornophilia? Choose your answer wisely, Gaines. This could be the day that the internet dubs you a nature beta.
I don't think I'd be attracted to anthropomorphic ducks. They'd probably have like really weird pussies and buttholes, so yeah, I don't see myself being into something like that. Thanks for the donation, though, Duck on Your Face. W donate $2. Bitches are crazy.
Men look to women for both.
Okay, well, watch that in a bit. Thanks for the donation, dude.
And I've got my nifty scrub brush to help me scrub my back. Then I've got a big fluffy I'm awfully fond of you. Bo-bo-bo-dee-o. Ooh, he's ticklish.
Yeah, okay.
Morals and leadership skills because they don't have any. Men look to women for both morals and leadership skills because they don't have any of their own. This is why we often blame.
What? Please explain to me, like, why most CEOs are men, why most, like generals are men, most leaders of countries are men, if men have zero leadership skills. Like, if women were better leaders, you would expect them to lead more, right?
Blame women for infidelity and for affairs. We call them home wreckers, and we consider them worse than the men who actually wreck their own homes, cheating on their partners and leaving their children for these women. That's because both men and women know that men look to women for leadership and for.
I mean, there's so many things I could say about this. Mangusis, donated $2. Let me see. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at his stubby tail. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, how are all cats exactly the same? It's so awesome. Oh my god, that's a special kitty. Oh my goodness. He loves his box. Oh, look how handsome. Oh my goodness. That's a nice cat. Oh. Wow, that's a very pretty swan.
How to build a dam? I don't know how to build a dam. I don't know how to build a dam. Pussy.
Oh my god. I did not expect it to go that way. Oh, that's good. Sigma Beaver. Oh. Oh my goodness. You're saying hello. Wow. Oh my god. That's amazing. Oh, that is so nice. Look at all those deer. Oh my god. That's amazing. That is so nice. Thanks for the donation, Mangusis. Wandering Mason donated $3. Let me see. That is not a good idea. I would not want to do that. I'd get super dizzy and sick. Thanks for the donation, Wandering Mason. Cheating between men and women is roughly even, and in non-marital relationships. In marital relationships, there is a slight difference at the beginning of a marriage. Again, it's like roughly even, but I think men cheat slightly more. And then as a marriage continues, men have a higher propensity to cheat. That could be for a number of reasons. Could just be to, I don't know, marriage just being a stupid fucking idea to begin with. Going Anders donated $2. Check out Cold Steel 2025 lineup. Which one is your favorite?
Hey everybody, I want to show you what's new for 2025. Against 60 series, okay? We had the Spectre, we had the Caledonian. Now we have the Hatomoto right here, okay? It's kind
Yeah, whatever. Not really into folding knives. Yeah, who gives a shit?
staple of the Frenzy. Same feels, little edge to pay double edge. People love the carry right here. People love the Wasp. Now they've got the Mini Wasp, okay? Double edge, perfect dagger point on this thing. Drop Forge 52-100 steel.
Yeah, that one looks pretty decent. I don't like folding knives.
A great boot knife, a great waist knife, great all-around knife. Speaking of penetration, Andrew Demko did this.
Those are usually illegal in like almost everywhere. You wouldn't be able to get this in Canada.
Okay.
Push knives are really great, but yeah, they're illegal fucking everywhere.
This is to bounce and come over. Bone-breaking glass break co. Now, if you guys have seen a lot.
Yeah, again, not really interested in the folding knives.
Well, we came out with the new Stick Man holdouts right here. All right, these are 420 stainless steel, but they have a G10 handle on them. Same weight, same balance, same feel as the holdout. They're just inexpensive and they're perfect to throw. Snap this thing open, practice getting it open.
Yeah, throwing knives are stupid. That dagger looks like the best knife, at least if you want something for, like combat, like for fighting or self-defense. Thanks for the donation, Going Anders. Video call what? Somebody in the server? Somebody wants in the server? Oh my god, why the There you go, have fun wasting my time.
Where do you make your farts? Could you show us?
I can't show you on stream because I'd probably get my channel taken down, but I make my farts up my butt. Thanks for the donation, Nora Wibber.
Or moral compass, because they have none of their own. This is why it's always like, oh, well, she came on to me or she came on to him and she's such a home wrecker and this is a pattern and da-da-da. Why didn't he say no? Why didn't he know better? Why did
Yes, because women never cheat. We know that.
he look to her for his morals? Why did he say, well, since she's putting it out there, I'm just going to take it? Where's the leadership? Where's the moral compass? Where's the moral superiority that men so often claim to have? Where is it? They shouldn't be in leadership positions at all. And
Bro, how many fucking, like, if you ever watch Jerry Springer, Mary Povich, anytime they do these paternity tests, 99% of the time, the woman was cheating on her boyfriend or husband with like 20 different fucking dudes, and it turns out they're not the father. And then she's like, women have better leadership skills. Right. That's why they constantly whine and complain for child support. That's why in so many fucking countries, paternity tests are fucking illegal. Like the UK. Because the courts know if they allowed for paternity testing, and you could actually use that as a legal defense against child support, there'd be tons of there'd be tons of women who wouldn't be getting any fucking spousal support for their kid, and then they'd have to turn to the government for fucking money, which the UK can't afford. So they try to put men who aren't even the father of these kids on the hook for it.
And apparently this started back in the Bible. Adam really was the blueprint for all men because he really looked God dead in the eyes and said, yeah, it was this woman that you made out of my rib several days ago who led me to disobey you. Yeah, I know that.
Don't worry, Supreme Ruler, we convinced Hamas to buy fentanyl-laced morphine. They use this morphine to give to wounded terrorists on the battlefield. When they all start dropping dead, that's why.
Okay, that's good. Very sneaky. Thanks for the donation, Benedict Arnold.
I was there when you said the whole Apple thing, and I know I was there when you were like making all the animals and like telling me all this important stuff. But still, for some reason, I listened to the woman that you supposedly made out of my rib. She was supposed to be my helper. I was supposed to be the leader, and she was supposed to be my helper. And instead, she told me to do something, and I just did it. How can you?
Is somebody gonna tell her the Genesis story is like a stupid made-up story? This is like me claiming men are more brave because if you ever read the Jungle Book, Mowgli went out into the wilderness and made friends with like scary wild animals when he was only a child.
Can you blame me? And all the other men have been mindless followers ever since. This is why they blame women. Women don't fall for this. If men really were leaders, that's just a test of their leadership. That's just a test of their moral high ground that they claim to have. They say that men
Right, men are terrible leaders. That's why women started complaining when they ended up being forced to sign up for the draft, right? Okay. Since women are such great leaders, maybe you should all be on the front lines and everything, since, you know, you're better at this than us.
make better leaders because they're less emotional, they're more decisive, they're more fact-based. Explain then to me why
women are more fact-based.
men will blame women for every single thing that they do. Instead of having their own leadership and their own moral compass, they'll be like, well, no, but she came on to me. Okay, say no. Keep it in your pants. You can't because she came on to you like you had no choice. You're not a leader then. You're not an ally.
This is hilarious. Like, there are just multiple reasons for why this may be the case. Her one hypothesis that men are bad leaders, that's only one hypothesis. Another hypothesis is we just don't care what you fucking think, so we'll do whatever we want. Doesn't make you a bad leader, it just means we don't take you seriously. Ever thought of that?
Alpha. That makes women the alpha. That makes women the leader. That makes women the deciders of morality and good and bad. Men only decide morality in hindsight. They cannot do it.
Does she? I really don't know if she is just trying to rage bait people, or if she actually believes this. She is dating a dude who looks like a complete beta. Somebody sent me like some Instagram thing. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, she's dating some like weird beta cuck dude.
On the spot. Apparently only women can. Apparently only women can know better. Apparently only women really have discernment. And that's why men will follow you into a cheating scandal. Apparently they'll follow.
Right, only women are discerning. That's why there's so many fucking single mothers.
Follow you into an unplanned pregnancy and say that it was your fault that you baby trapped him when he could have just been responsible for his own ejaculate. He chose not to.
What? She just contradicted herself. Unplanned pregnancy. Please tell me how women get fucking pregnant when it's unplanned. When you just claimed women are extremely discerning. So women are discerning, but there are unplanned pregnancies and single mothers left and right. Those two things do not go together.
And then he'll say that you baby trapped him. Just like Adam pointed the finger at Eve and said, she told me to do it, so I did. And God is like, who am I then? I told you not to do it and you listened to her? The woman I made out of your fucking rib? And that is truly how immoral and easily led astray men are. There's been two things that have really cemented this in my mind. The Cooking with Kaya backlash and the Ariana Grande, Ethan Slater backlash. All the responsibility gets placed on women. Even other women place the responsibility on women because they know how foolish and easily led astray men are. This is why women try to hold each other accountable more than they will ever hold men accountable. They'll be like,
Well, yeah, it's because they know they can't control the men in their lives. Like at the end of the day, they know men are going to do whatever the fuck they want. So yeah, they try to get other women to back off.
Like, stay away from my man. Why? Does your man not know right from wrong? Does your man not know your vagina from a different vagina? Give me a fucking break, please. And it'll especially be the women that look to men as leaders that are the most protective and the most nervous when other women are around their man. These are the women that are like, oh yeah, my husband has to follow the Billy Graham rule. Like, he can't be behind closed doors with any other women. Why? Even pastors sometimes hold themselves to this Billy Graham rule. To me, that's actually an extremely disturbing admission of the fact that they have no self-control, they have no moral compass, and
She just claimed women are alpha and they're the leaders, but they can't control the men they're with. And they have to resort to scaring off other women that are around them. Like, again, that's a clear contradiction.
that if an opportunity presents itself, they're not going to think twice about what's right and wrong in the situation. They're just going to do it. Please never rely on a man to have the moral compass or to lead you anywhere but off a cliff. That's where they're going unless a woman actively prevents them from doing it, right?
Oh, okay. Again, this is why there's so many single mothers, apparently.
The fact that a lot of men need to be actively prevented from cheating on or lusting after other women by the women that they stood up there and took vows with, the women that they say I love you to every night. You have no moral compass. You have no moral high ground.
Can't remember the figures exactly, but I think after 10 years of marriage, like, men are something like 30% more likely to cheat than women. It's not a huge margin. Infidelity rates, men and women. Shadow investigations. Reported extramarital sex. General Social Survey 2010 to 2016. Based on men and women in different age groups, either married or previously married. So 18 to 29, women cheat 11% more often. 18 to 29, women cheat 1% more often than men. So for younger marriages, women are, according to the survey, more likely to cheat. 30 to 39, men are 2% more likely to cheat. 40 to 49, again, men are only 2% more likely to cheat. 50 to 59, 7% difference. 60 to 69, 8% difference.
This bitch should just shut up and suck cocks. Psychotic bitch.
Well, she's just retarded. Thanks for the donation, dude. 70 to 79, 13% difference, and then 80 plus, there's a 18% difference. Like, it's not massive. So yeah. Women cheat fairly often, almost as much as men do.
Ground. You don't know right from wrong. You don't know good from bad. You're not fit to be in a relationship. You're not fit to call yourself an alpha because you have none of those skills. You have no critical thinking skills. A leader has critical thinking skills. They think about, should I do this or no? Will this benefit me? Will this benefit the people I care about? Those are critical thinking skills. Men who say it was a mistake, I just wasn't thinking, I forgot, da da da. The only thing that you've admitted with your unwillingness to take responsibility and to learn from your mistakes is the fact that nobody should ever, ever, ever look to you as a leader, as an intelligent person, any sort of moral compass. You have just given up your ability to judge others. You've given me everything I need to dismiss your opinion forever until the end of time. Because
she's kind of proving that nobody should take women seriously and they're just kind of crazy emotional whack jobs. I don't know how cheating on your spouse equates to you being a worse leader. Was Bill Clinton a worse president because he cheated on his wife? Like, he's one of the best presidents in American history. The U.S. had the greatest economic growth due to Clinton's economic policies. Now, he's a terrible person. I think it's pretty clear that he raped a number of women. He definitely had very inappropriate sexual relationships when he was in office, and probably even before office and after. But his leadership ability in terms of leading a country, that has nothing to do with his extramarital affairs. So, yeah, there you go.
As long as men keep claiming ignorance, being manipulated by women, like, I just can't take them seriously. Women are supposed to know all this. Women are supposed to not end up in situations where they're going to get, drugged, raped, abused, all that stuff. Always supposed to be dressed modestly, but not too modestly. Otherwise, men won't look at them, but you also can't dress
Son Goku donated $2, skip to 4 minutes.
Some cold shit.
The music sort of sucks. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
too immodestly. Otherwise, men will rape you or assault you or think that it's okay to treat you like a piece of meat because they have no moral compass of their own. They can only look at something and be like, oh, okay, that's a man. Okay, so stay the fuck away from them. 99% of them are gonna be like this.
Black people are more likely to commit violent crime. Stay away from black people. Black people are violent thugs. So this is literally what she's claiming.
And I'm sorry to have to tell you that. One thing I've come to realize is that men don't really care about being predators. And in fact, they want women to think of them as predators. That is until we use that word, until we call them out on actually being predators. Then they get really upset. But until then, they will absolutely describe themselves as a predator. They're absolutely okay.
Black people are thugs, they're criminals, they're gangsters. That's just how they are. That's literally what she's claiming.
With being known as predators, because when women complain about abuse in a relationship, when women complain about being raped or assaulted at a party or something,
when white people complain about black people being violent thugs, everybody blames white people for being racist, but at the end of the day, it's true. She's just, yeah.
Something like that. The excuses that men make for one another in those moments makes it very clear how they think about themselves and most men as predators. They will be like, well, what were you doing there? Why were you wearing that? You should have picked better. All of these excuses really are acknowledging one thing. They're acknowledging the fact that men will take advantage of you if you're not careful. What is that? You're describing the relationship between a predator and their prey. The prey has to be careful because the predator, it's in their nature.
There have been quite a few women who've worked at elementary and high schools that have committed statutory rape against male students. This happens, and it probably happens a bit more than a lot of people kind of know about because, people don't suspect it. Women are commonly, infantilized, and people just don't expect women to do that. But, even in my own personal experience, it was pretty clear a female teacher at my school committed statutory rape against a male student. I tried to bring it up to other teachers and the principal, and nobody fucking did anything. No investigation. In fact, I ended up getting harassed and threatened by teachers telling me I can't say things like that. So, and on top of that, women get lower sentences for committing the exact same crime, even when adjusted for socioeconomic status, race, any relevant confounding variables. There have been some pretty high-profile cases where women committed statutory rape and they completely got off with absolutely no charges because the jury and judge viewed them as the victims, even though they were the ones who were having sex with a fucking underage student when these kids couldn't give consent.
To harm, assault, subdue, all of that, right? Men say things like, well, I just couldn't control myself. No, I just can't help it. That's all predator talk. That's you telling on yourself that your nature is literally predatory. You will take advantage of somebody in a weak and vulnerable situation because it would be stupid of you not to, right? No, only a predator would do that. Only a predator would do that. But men act like it's normal. Men will be like, no, that's actually our nature. But then they'll get mad when you call them a predator. They'll get mad.
Black people will get mad when you call them violent thugs, but that's just their nature.
When you try to warn other women that most men have this kind of mindset, they'll be like, no, we don't. Not all men. How can you say that? You're such a misandrist. But when a woman ends up in a situation where a man has abused, assaulted her, taken advantage of her, acted in a predatory way upon her.
So I thought women were alpha, right? Like, aren't they the ones running society? Aren't they above men? Don't they have power and control? So how are men the predators? Again, just self-contradictory nonsense.
What do men say? Men say she should have known better, she should have picked better, she should have been more careful. So there you have it. Men know they're predators. They just don't care. And not only do they not care, they also just don't want to be called out on it. They only want to use that fact in order to defend themselves. They don't want women to use that fact to defend themselves because once again, they are what? Predatory. One thing I personally learned.
I'm not opening up Discord. I sent the link. Nobody was in. I'm not playing that fucking game, dude.
At what level of sentience are human rights granted? Let's say I rape an advanced AI robot with subjective experience and electric neural networks. Would this be a crime? Does it count as an object or inanimate object which was man-made? Thoughts?
If it's sentient, then it would have human rights. Doesn't really matter if it's a robot. And what level of sentience are human rights granted? If you're able to experience well-being and or suffering, then that's where I would grant human rights. Like, in theory, a being could be sentient and not be able to experience suffering or well-being. And they may only be able to experience something extremely simplistic, like they may be able to see like light and dark, and that's it. I wouldn't really care if a being like that lived or died. Or you could, in theory, have a being that could literally only experience suffering and not well-being. In that case, I would have... I think it would kind of be a moral imperative to exterminate that being, since the only thing it can experience is suffering. So, like, existence for it would be just a living hell. Thanks for the donation, though, Clyde.
What the fuck are you on about? Some fucking person said they messaged you because the link didn't fucking work. Honestly, using your fingers to open Discord too fucking hard.
Yeah, I'm not opening Discord. It's probably that troll from the other day. Thanks for the donation, Bootycum.
And in life is that you should always be more mean to men than you think you need to be. You probably don't think that you need to be mean to them at all, but that's not true. And by mean, I really mean like disinterested and unimpressed. Because the moment that you act impressed or interested in a man, that's when he's going to make a mental note in his head that he can screw you over. And it's really that simple. And I'm not talking about just men that you're dating or romantically interested in.
That is literally the opposite. Like, literally the exact opposite. Women are the ones who generally try to test you and push boundaries and see what they can get away with.
And I mean all men, like men that are like your boss, men that try to be your friends, men that, you know, you share hobbies with, all that. Don't be nice to them. I've never regretted being mean to a man. You know what I have regretted? Being nice to a man. Because really, like, when you're nice to a man or you go out of your way, they don't view that as like something extra that you did. They view that as something that they're entitled to. They now...
This sounds like projection. That's literally, like, women have a greater propensity to act that way.
View that as this is how you're going to treat them forever.
Like, buddy, just look at the, like, content online. How many women say, I deserve a man who makes, like, 7 figures, treats me like a princess, I shouldn't have to pay any bills, and these women are overweight, some of them are, like, single moms, you know, like, not attractive, like, they have nothing going for them. How many men are posting videos like, yeah, a woman has to pay for the date. I don't know why, like, I should be expected to pay. And I'm, like, a broke homeless dude. But I'm only going to date a woman who makes 7 figures and is at least, like, 6 feet tall and will, like, you know, treat me like I'm a king. Like, men don't do that. Like... No, women are the ones who are generally entitled.
So it's kind of like you're giving them the wrong idea without trying to give them the wrong idea. But when you're nice to a man, he's just going to assume he can walk all over you. That doesn't mean he's going to be nice back to you. In fact, a lot of men will only ever be nice to you as long as you are mean to them and you're unimpressed with them and you're not really giving them the time of day. That is the only time that they're going to act kind.
No, this is pure projection. All right, well, that was enough nonsense.
Not the occupant of the office.
He said, quote, Donald Trump, the ordinary citizen, Donald Trump, the criminal defendant, would not be entitled to those protections. And Justice Merchan explained that given the Supreme Court's immunity decision, this was the only possible sentence available to the court.
The protections afforded the office of the president are not a mitigating factor. They do not reduce the seriousness of the crime or justify its commission in any way. The protections are, however, a legal mandate which, pursuant to the rule of law, this court must respect and follow.
So for making sense of everything, let's talk to my go-to New York criminal law practitioner, Mitchell Epner. Mitch, what are your thoughts about the way that Merchan handled this?
Thank you, Devin. So yes, Justice Merchan has gotten this case against Donald Trump.
Wandering Mason donated $3. Let me see.
I think that's a secret room. We should bust this open, right?
You should.
It's cool. It's still lit after 25 years. All right, I got it. Let's see what's in there.
What do we got?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thanks for that donation, dude.
Trump and the 34 felony convictions across the finish line in what I think is the only way that he could have done it.
Do you think the sentence of unconditional release was a deciding factor in the 5-4 Supreme Court decision?
Yes, it was. It is cited in the Supreme Court's 5-4 line order, saying that that's one of the reasons why they agreed to deny the stay to soon-to-be again President Trump. I think it is virtually certain that they would not have allowed the sentencing to go forward. And in particular, Justice Barrett and Chief Justice Roberts, I think, would not have allowed the sentencing to go forward. They would have joined their 4 other co-henchmen in the Trump versus United States case, where they overturned centuries of understanding of American constitutional law with regard to the presidency and criminal sanctions. I think they would have done it again. And I think that the only reason why the Chief Justice and Barrett didn't join with their 4 co-henchmen was that they saw that there was literally nothing at stake for Trump, and they did not want to further tarnish their reputations, which have been absolutely demolished in what I will call the Mandarin lawyer class since Trump versus the United States came out. It was just a horrible decision issued in bad faith that has really damaged them.
And what do you make of the Supreme Court's 5-4 decision allowing the sentencing to go forward?
It is an absolute indictment of the 4 members of the Supreme Court who voted in favor of the stay. They are bought and paid for. They are in the pocket of Donald Trump. Many people in elite legal circles used to like to say that Federalists and conservative judges were had ideologies, but they weren't partisans. I think that the
How can I argue with a particularist who says name the trait doesn't cause an contradiction because humans can have value while animals don't? Jack Ansktrich argued this against Sky ourself.
I don't think claiming you're a particularist resolves any of these issues, because again, the assumption would be there's a particular reason why you think humans have moral value. So they have to have some trait or set of traits that would give them moral value. So it could be having a certain genome. It could be sentience, intelligence, sapience, whatever. So again, presumably, if a human being were lacking some of these traits, you would be fine with like killing a human being if they were trait equalized to an animal. So you should still be able to run name the trait. Like, particularism doesn't resolve that problem. Thanks for the donation though, Pinpin. Wandering Mason donated $3. Let me see.
From everybody else, what is your take on that? And did you cheat?
Governor, this was not cheating. This was a great move. I'm very glad that we did this. Here's how the rules read. You have to finish by 7:45. At 7:43, we were not done. You get one exception, which is technical difficulty. So with a little creativity and some scissors, I gave us a technical difficulty. Oh my God.
Are you okay?
Okay. Oh, I'm totally fine. You guys all right?
Strangers. Why'd you hit the wire? What the? That was crazy.
Cutting the cord bought us the time that we needed. It was a creative move. It was one that should be valued and appreciated.
I will not tolerate cheaters in my boardroom. You're fired.
Does Arnold Schwarzenegger have a reality TV show that's like Trump's? I never even heard of that. Thanks for the donation, Wandering Mason.
Mask has been ripped away from that. Those four, Thomas, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Alito, have demonstrated that they will confirm Trump's horse to the Senate. They will do whatever he demands because they have completely and totally acquiesced to him. There is no good faith basis for the stay. They simply are kowtowing.
Now, given the circumstances, do you think it would have been possible to convict Trump of a more severe penalty?
Once he said he wasn't going to impose anything more, I don't think...
Arnold hosted The Apprentice for a season or two? Oh, okay.
He could have. And in the absence of him saying that he wasn't going to impose anything, I don't think that the sentencing would have been allowed to go forward.
Now, there's been a very minor pedantic controversy over whether Trump is officially a convicted felon. Now that he's been sentenced, is he now officially a convicted felon?
Is Donald Trump now a convicted felon? Yes. Donald Trump is a felon convicted of 34 separate felonies in the state of New York. Those convictions will remain unless and until he gets them overturned on appeal. He will be, in about 10 days, our felon in chief.
Thanks so much, Mitch. But since Trump will now face no real repercussions, he'll be
first U.S. president with a felony
taking office in a few days. And we've already covered what can and will happen if he implements the massive tariffs that he's talking about. If he does, well, we'll all need to save as much money.
Yeah, that's dumb. All right, so Andrew Tate did an interview with Gadget on YouTube. This guy's been covering Andrew Tate's lies. He's actually gotten access to some of the court documents that haven't been made public outlining his charges, so this should be interesting.
I don't even know who the fuck's speaking, to be honest. But
Packed on $8, you don't want to miss this.
Hey everyone, many of you saw my
Flat Earther Lord Jamar live on Godfrey's broadcast.
recent reaction video where I drank whiskey while laughing at a rap.
I don't think I really care about any of this. Like, they're just retarded.
Flat Earther named Lord Jamar. Basically, he's a flat earther. He is 100% impervious to even the most basic facts and logic, and he will not listen to a word I have to say, no matter how obviously correct I am.
Thoughts on $8? Do you think this man was fairly persecuted or not?
Then suddenly came that her father and he almost tried to hit me. You touch my daughter and this and that, all the things.
On March 31st, 2023,
The break 20 minutes also, she didn't came out, right? She went there with the broom and the dust.
The cameras, video cameras?
No, sir, no, there is no camera in the video. But
he told me that he tried to kiss her.
And there's cameras in the room?
There is?
Yes.
Oh, he just said it wasn't. He just said it wasn't.
There's a big one, but...
My bad.
they could see the 17-year-old employee cleaning the break room when the manager walks in and begins talking to her. He then places his hand near her waist, lifts her head, and leans in his face towards her.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is likely a creep, so, you know, thanks for the donation thoughts.
But when has that ever stopped me before? So I agreed to go on the show. Now, I will say that I went into this with the intention of remaining relatively cordial as long as possible, but Jamar began insulting me before I was even introduced, so I decided to just lace into him from I could get equal speaking time. I still took a big steamy dump all over him, and made, in fact, that after Leia wasn't cut out of the he looked. But my friends, you'd better believe I
want to say something. Go ahead. It's ridiculous. Before we bring Professor Dave, here's my thing. Man, let me fuck Professor Dave. Before he watches the internet.
That does not matter.
Let me finish.
Say whatever the money tells them to
Nobody
say. Godfrey, to even come here to talk to Mr.
You're doing good.
You're doing good.
You guys see me?
Hey.
What up, Dave?
You do not believe in the flat Earth theories, and you are. When you hear about what you. Okay, who's gonna go? Okay.
The reason that things stick.
I don't care. Who cares? Thanks for the donation pack. I am Zane Does Vegan Gains Rage. Donate $2.
Fucking love to do in this monitor. God, like... Look what I did. Oh fucking well. Lifeboat. Because shit like this will just happen again. Like, look...
Okay. These aren't funny. Okay, Seth donated $3.
No woman wants to date a loser. That's why you reject the man, because I am a loser. Women like them criminals. That's what women like. That's what women are attracted to. And it's lights out for you. Lights out. I've been on zero. And that's jacked up, and you don't do that to anybody. Oh, it is. Women like guys who has nothing to offer themselves, who feelings, but women care about some no good, deadbeat, sorry thugs feelings. And to keep going out there and trying.
These people are just so fucking delusional. There's clearly something wrong with them if they're making videos like this. Like, they have to be insanely toxic, creepy weirdos. If they think, oh, women will only date, like, this kind of guy, oh, like a criminal thug, or some dude who's like a fucking 6'5" Giga Chad. I had a friend who had a really fucking cute sister. I think she was like 5'1". She might have been like 5 feet. Really small, cute girl. I think he was part Indian, like half Indian, half white or something. So his sister was half Indian, half white. And I had a crush on her, and I had talked to her at school and shit. And she dated a guy who was shorter than her. And again, she's 5'1", and she might have just been 5 feet. So she might have literally been dating an actual midget. And this guy had the grossest pimply pizza face you would ever have fucking seen. So if a guy who's an actual midget and has like a gross ass pimply pizza face can end up dating an attractive girl, I think there might be hope for us all, as long as you're not a crazy weirdo like this. So she's dating that dude, nothing I can do. then she breaks up with him eventually, and I find out she's into the singer Lady Tron. So I look up Lady Tron, and, you know, as luck would have it, she's doing some concert in Toronto. So I ask her, hey, Lady Tron has a concert in Toronto. Do you want to go? I can buy tickets. So she said, I don't know if I'm going to have time, and if I'm going to go, I'd go with my friends. So clearly she's not interested in, you know, going on a date with me or anything. So I'm like, okay, cool. She ends up dating this fucking, just gross, skinny fucking weirdo. And he smokes cigarettes. So she ends up smoking cigarettes because her gross, skinny, like, nasty-ass fucking boyfriend with rotten teeth smokes cigarettes. So she ends up smoking. Now she ends up breaking up with him. Now, she's a smoker, so I don't want to date her. Like, smoking's just fucking gross. So then the next dude she starts dating is this fucking gross, fat fuck. Like, and I mean fat ass. Like, his gut is hanging over his penis. Like, there's no way this guy can even see his dick. And she ends up dating this guy for a while, and she gets fat. Like, I don't know. You know, like, so you can get pretty girls being a literal gross, pimply midget. You can get girls being a skinny, fucking ugly dude who smokes like crazy and has rotten teeth. And you can get girls being a disgusting slob fat fuck. It happens. So, you know, these dudes who are incels there's something seriously wrong with them if they cannot find one single decent girl to go out with. Yeah, so, like, yeah, and I mean, the type of dude who'd upload a video like this to the internet, like, clearly they're fucked in the head.
We're meant to be rejects when it comes to the dating scene, man. Man, that thug life is cool. They want me to do something that I regret, and it's really getting on my nerves. Confidence doesn't mean anything, and stop telling me that crap. Once you start dating a man, they'll probably.
Well, Meta Ethics donate $2. Hey VG, not a troll here. I'd like to call you about Israel. Are you open to that? I've sent you a message on Discord. The link you posted before didn't work. You're 99% chance you're just a troll. Who the fuck is this? There, I'm calling you on Discord. Wandering Mason donated $3.
On both sides of the Atlantic, marriage is a wonderful way of destroying not just your own life, but also somebody else's.
Monkeys. That looks like the male monkey over there. That smaller, fat, ugly one must be the female monkey.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sitting up.
Yeah, what do you want?
Cool. I promise I'm not a troll.
Are you the guy?
Okay,
Are you the guy who fucking called yesterday?
No, I've never called you before. Just give me 1 second to make sure my setup is working.
And maybe they were once in love, but that love died a long time ago. And all his hopes and dreams with
just
it.
give me 1 moment. So
I really am now just waiting for you to die.
Right, the tortoise.
I'm just trying to make sure that my thing records properly.
Okay. Thanks for the donation, Wandering Mason.
Would you...
Trust
sorry,
me,
would you just be
this
able
one
to
is
speak,
different.
please?
You won't get any of it with constant skipping. Maybe you don't have much patience this evening. Then next stream maybe.
Just like say something.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Pack, but if you send me a video that sucks, I'm skipping through it. Thanks for the donation, though, dude. Okay, do you have the audio levels set up?
Yeah, it looks all good. Okay, so basically, my position is that I'm not super well versed on this, but my position is that Israel should not have initiated its offensive. So this is a retrospective position. I'm not saying that they should stop now. But the reason for this is that the extensive loss of Gazan civilian lives, to me, just seems to massively outweigh the relatively low number of Israeli civilian lives that will potentially be saved.
Yeah, so how many Americans died in World War II before they actually joined the war?
I don't know. Well, I guess none.
So it was about 1,000 when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. That's what initiated the conflict. You want to know how many people the Americans ended up killing? Innocent civilians?
Probably would have been in.
It's about 500,000.
Wow.
So, are you against America's involvement in World War II? Because there's a disproportionate amount of lives lost?
No.
Yeah, so, who the fuck cares then?
All right, let me just think about that for a minute. Well, I suppose you could potentially make the case that in World War II, if America didn't intervene, then the number of American lives lost could have been much, much higher than 1,000.
Okay, and if Israel didn't attack Hamas, Hezbollah, and other Iranian proxies, you could assume there would eventually be more Jewish lives lost, correct? Because Hamas would still have operational capability. They'd still be launching rockets into Israel. They would still plan on jumping the border and attacking Israeli civilians. They would still be getting support from Iran. Iran would also still be able to give support to Hezbollah. And they'd also be able to funnel weapons and support through Syria. And Russia would also be able to funnel weapons to supply Hamas and Hezbollah through Syria. So that would defeat...
I do agree that there would be an increase in Israeli lives lost. However, I'm just not convinced that the increase would be enough to justify...
okay, right.
it.
So the Israeli government should figure, it's okay if, there are frequent terror attacks where, 1,000 or so Israeli civilians die. We're Jews. We don't really deserve to live. So I guess we just have to live with that. Is that the position the Israeli government should take if something like that were happening to the United States? Should the United States say, who cares if American citizens are experiencing these terror attacks where 1,000 or so of us are dying, like in 9/11, over 1,000 people died? There's no need to go over to Afghanistan and hunt down Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. Why would we do that? It was only a terror attack where, over 1,000 civilians died. That's the position that countries should take?
Well, I don't believe it is the case that there are frequent terror attacks in Israel where over 1,000 civilians died. I don't...
Yeah, that's right. Usually when terror attacks take place, it's only bus bombings where, maybe 30, 40 people die. So no big deal, right? It's only 30, 40 Jews. It's not like, Jews matter, right?
Well, Well, I think it's terrible, and like if you could snap your fingers and just eliminate Hamas, that would be great. But I don't think it's worth eliminating them at the cost of what, like 30,000 Gazan civilians have been killed.
Okay, so you're telling me if the United States were going through something similar, where Al-Qaeda every so often is able to pull off these huge fucking terror attacks where 1,000 or so American civilians die, and again, every few weeks or every few months, they're able to do bus bombings or something where they can kill 20, 30, 40 Americans all at once. You're telling me it's not worth it to go after fascist terrorist regimes? Because think of the little children? Like that's your argument?
I mean, well, again, like obviously I think all of these attacks are really sad, but like I do think you're overstating the amount of Israeli civilians that have killed. So like only 27 Israeli civilians were killed by rockets from 2004 to 2014.
Yeah, that's rockets.
And that's
Hamas, yeah, and that's due to the Iron Dome, which is insanely expensive. Israel had to spend, I think, $500 million in a single fucking month before the October 7th attack. So, like, the Iron Dome is ridiculously fucking expensive. It's not even 100% effective. And that's why you don't see as many Israeli casualties. If the United States had to deal with those sorts of fucking expenses, if Al-Qaeda was stationed in Mexico and Al-Qaeda was launching rockets into Mexico, and the United States had to spend that kind of fucking money, $500 million in a single fucking month, just to deal with rocket strikes. Do you think the U.S. would tolerate anything like that, or do you think they'd actually do what Israel did and have an invasion into the country to deal with them once and for all?
I suspect the U.S. would not tolerate it. But
Can you give me one country that would? Do you think Iran would tolerate that if Israel was doing that to Iran? Do you think any fucking country on the entire fucking planet, the UK, Ireland, Sweden, Russia, like any fucking country on the entire planet, if they had to deal with that kind of problem that Israel's dealing with, they would tolerate that and just say, oh, well, only 27 civilians have died from these rocket attacks, and we're only spending billions of fucking dollars a year to maintain this defense system. And, you know, only occasionally do we have, you know, mass amounts of civilians, 1,000 or so, that end up dying in a large-scale attack. We usually only have to do with occasional bus bombings every few weeks, where, you know, 20, 30 people die. Would any fucking country on the planet ever put up with horseshit like that?
Right, so I can just agree that like no country would do it.
Oh,
however,
weird. Okay, but
that...
we're supposed to do the moral fagging and tell Israel, "Oh, you can't do that. Sure, you're getting killed by terrorists, but you can't go into another country and stop terrorism," when we would never tolerate that. None of Israel's neighbors would tolerate that. Not a single fucking country on the entire planet would put up with that bullshit. It would be totally justified and expected for them to invade a neighboring country or region and deal with the terrorists. But for some fucking reason, Israel's an exception, and they have to be put to a higher moral standard than every other fucking country on the planet.
So let me just be clear that like my claim is not that Israel is like doing anything worse than another country would, and my claim is also not that for other countries it would be justified. I think that they would take the same actions as Israel, but I think on the face of it, it looks like they would be just as wrong in doing so.
No, that's some gay-ass retarded pussy shit. Look, you are a cucked fucking bitch if you think that way. If you think fascism and terrorism is acceptable and we should appease terrorists, let our own citizens and countrymen die because there's a fucking fascist regime that wants to exterminate an entire race of people, and you should just put up with that because, oh, innocent civilians could die. Well, then I guess the United States should have never entered World War II. We should have just appeased Hitler and capitulated because, oh, innocent civilians could die. About 500,000 German civilians died over the course of World War II. I don't know how many Japanese. I'd expect it's, again, close to 500,000. Yeah, civilians die in fucking warfare, but if you're going to tell me we should tolerate fascism, we should tolerate genocidal fucking regimes just because civilians could die, then you're just a cucked bitch. That's exactly what they want. That's what fascists, that's what terrorists want you to think. That's why they're posting all this bullshit on fucking TikTok saying, "Oh, children are dying," and this is why it's getting pushed by the Chinese Communist Party too, because they want you to think that, so that fascism and terrorism can spread, and these genocidal fucking regimes can do whatever the fuck they want, because weak, limp dick pussies like you will say, "Oh, but think of the children," and then they can kill you, they can kill your family, they can kill and destroy everything and everyone you love and care for, because you're too much of a weak bitch to actually take any risks and crack a few fucking skulls to create peace.
Well, once again, I'm not really convinced that the World War II analogy is appropriate because the cost of lives was so much higher, right? Like the Germans killed like 6 million Jews, you know? That's very different to, 27 rocket attacks and a few hundred other suicide bombings, which are, of course, terrible.
Buddy, Hamas wants to exterminate all Jews from the planet.
So I definitely agree that that's what Hamas wants, but I'm not convinced that they will be able to do that. Perhaps, like, maybe
they
if
would.
you could tell me, like,
buddy, they would. If we listen to people like you, oh, Israel can't invade. Israel can't retaliate against terror attacks. Israel can't strike Iran. Like, how long do you think Israel would be able to exist if after terror attack after terror attack, all these countries neighboring Israel, fucking Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, all of these countries wanted Israel to be fucking destroyed. If Israel listened to bullshit like this, oh, but think of the children, oh, innocent lives could be destroyed, they'd be completely fucking wiped out.
Okay, well, so for me to concede, basically, I'm not really convinced that it would pose a threat to Israel if they just focused on defense. But if you can maybe convince me that Israel would be under like a very serious threat if they didn't invade Gaza, then like I would agree with you.
So, this is the mindset that people had when they tried to appease Hitler. This is the mindset a lot of idiots have right now when it comes to Putin. Oh, just give him territory, he'll stop. Oh, just give Hitler Poland, he'll stop. They never stop. These are fascist dictators. These people literally claim they love death. You have fucking imams that are giving sermons saying, if you go to war and you try to kill a Jew, it is impossible to lose, because if you kill a Jew and you're victorious, then you have succeeded in killing a Jew and you've achieved glory. If you die, then you're a martyr and you'll go to heaven and get 72 virgins. These people are radical, insane whack jobs, and they will do everything they can to exterminate every fucking Jew on the planet. You have entire fucking nations like Iran that are dedicated to destroying fucking Israel. Again, they can play this long-ass fucking game because they have an entire population that's radicalized into thinking they have to exterminate Israel and kill every fucking Jew. they can just breed, create more and more fucking children. They will do terror attack after terror attack. And they'll try to, and Iran will keep trying to fund these terrorist proxies all over the place. They'll try to entice other countries like Egypt, Jordan, to join in and go to war with fucking Israel. And, like, this idea, oh, well, it's not a threat right now. Was Hitler a threat in the 1930s? Was he a threat to the US? Was he a threat to Europe back then? No, people kept like fucking Chamberlain. He said, oh, let's not go to war. Imagine how many lives could be lost if we went to war with Hitler. Let's just try to, like, be nice with him and just say, okay, you can invade that one country, but just stop there. This is the fucking mindset that leads to dictatorships, totalitarianism. This is exactly what fucking Iran wants. This is exactly what Hamas and Hezbollah wants. They want people like you to promote this idea, oh, well, there's not that much of a threat to Israel. Oh, there's not that much of a threat to Europe. Let Putin take some of Ukraine. This is the mindset that just leads to more and more fucking horseshit. So why in the hell would any of us put up with this fucking horseshit? If, look, if you care about fucking innocent lives, then exterminate the fucking terrorists. They're willing to play a long game, okay? These people are creating more and more generations of children that they're indoctrinating into a Nazi fucking death cult where they're just going to keep killing more Jews. If we play this long game, oh, well, they're not an existential threat to Hitler. Well, over the course of, decades and decades and decades and generations, you're going to get children that are told to kill Jews. They're going to wear suicide vests. They're going to do all these terror attacks. And over the course of those decades, you're probably going to see more innocent lives lost than if you just deal with the fucking problem now.
Okay, I have two things to say, if you can just give me a minute. So the first is that I'm not really sure about the appeasement analogy, because let's say Hamas took land from Israel. I think Israel would be justified in taking that back. But more importantly, can you maybe just clarify your position a bit? It sounds like you seem to think that, if Israel doesn't attack Hamas, then in the future, Hamas can join forces with Iran, Jordan, etc. And then in the future, they would become an existential threat to Israel. Is that correct?
Well, that's already happened before. That's why there was the 6-Day War, where Israel was at war with Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon all at the same time. So that has happened. And again, it's unlikely, there's the Abraham Accords, but it's not like any of these countries necessarily like Israel. They've just learned that Israel will defeat them militarily, especially when they have support from the US. And they've just realized it's in their interest to play nice. Iran, because of their leadership, they have this, they're just run by crazy radical Islamists. And they're just funding other crazy radical Islamists in Palestine and in Lebanon and Syria to try to, kill Jews. I don't see a likely future where, these other neighboring, I don't see a likely future where Egypt kind of switches sides and tries to attack Israel again. That is possible if, again, cucked bitch-ass pussies who watch too many TikTok videos, like you, try to convince the US population that, oh, Israel isn't our ally, they're a genocidal fucking regime, and it's totally unjustified for them to defend themselves. They should have never invaded, Palestine. If we create a cultural problem like that, where everybody has the stupid dumbass opinion, and all of these neighboring countries around Israel realize they don't have US support anymore, imagine how fucking easy it would be to run out Israel's resources. Again, they had to spend $500 million in one single month on the Iron Dome just to repel missiles from Hamas and Gaza. One single month alone, just from Hamas and Gaza. Imagine if they had to go to war with Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, and possibly also Iran and Syria all at the same time. Yeah, they may not be able to have a decisive military victory within a short time frame, but they could drain Israel's resources over time, kind of like what Russia's trying to do with Ukraine. And if Israel ends up not getting any international support, and again, they are running out of support from almost every country because of this dumb bitch cuck shit where, Jews don't deserve to live. It's not a big deal if they suffered, a terrorist attack where 1,000 of them were fucking killed. Yeah, fuck them. Oh, they're invading fucking Gaza after Hamas slaughtered over 1,000 of them? Yeah, we're not going to support Israel. That's a genocide. Their only real ally left is the US. So, this fucking stupid idea. I don't know what to fucking tell you, dude.
Okay, well, let me just clarify. I definitely don't think Israel is committing a genocide. I really don't want to associate myself with
then why in the fuck, dude, look at all the fucking people who are spinning this narrative that Israel should never have invaded Gaza. They're all anti-Semites. They're all claiming fucking genocide. What are you doing on their side?
Well, I'm not saying I'm necessarily on their side. Maybe I just share some of their positions. But my position is pretty tame. I'm not even saying Israel should stop. I'm just questioning whether this was a good idea.
It was a great idea. They were able to massacre fucking Hamas. They've completely destroyed Hezbollah operationally. There's also a collapse of the Iranian regime, and they've been able to wipe out Iranian targets in Syria. So now they can't smuggle arms through Syria. So now if Iran wants to support any of their proxies, they're going to have a much fucking harder time doing it. And it looks like they're going to be able to wipe out Iran's nuclear problem and create a regime change. So it seems like a great idea to me.
I just said that so you don't get the wrong idea about me. But so I just want to go over some of the points you raised. Do you think that in the future they could become an existential threat? And you raised a couple points that interest me. So it's is it $500,000 or $500 million a month that the Iron Dome costs?
They, I think in the month of September, they had to spend $500 million on the Iron Dome. It was, I think it was a month or two before the October 7th attack. It was $500 million on the Iron Dome because of the sheer amount of rocket attacks.
So then would you say that because of the cost, it's not possible for Israel to just play defense? Or it's not reasonable to expect that?
It's not reasonable. If the United States had to, deal with if any country had to deal with those sorts of costs, why wouldn't you just wipe out the fucking problem?
Okay, I'm just writing that down. So it's not reasonable to expect Israel to pay $500K a month, $500 million a month in defense.
That was a particularly bad month. Again, Hamas this was a big plan of Hamas. They wanted to try to wipe out as many of Israel's resources as possible. This was leading up to the October 7th attack. Usually they don't have to have those sorts of expenditures with the Iron Dome, but the Iron Dome is remarkably costly.
Okay, and you also, would you happen to know what the average monthly cost is?
I don't know what the average monthly cost is, and I'd imagine it varies widely. If they don't have to use it, it's way cheaper. If they have to use it, obviously, depending on how much they have to use it, it ends up being way more costly.
All right. And then you also said Israel is running out of support. Could you maybe expand on that?
Yeah, the UK I think the UK at this point is refusing to supply Israel with arms. Canada has also stopped arms shipments, and our bitch-ass Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he's committed to arresting Netanyahu if he steps foot in Canada to comply with the ICC arrest warrant, because he's a fucking moron. So they're running out of support from every ally in Europe. The US is really their only real arms supplier.
Well, is like not giving them arms the same as like not supporting them? You know?
Yes.
If we're running this like what I'm interested in is like, can Israel just play defense, right? Like if all they're doing is playing defense, then they wouldn't need arms, right?
Well, if they're like, again, then Hamas will still exist, and then Hamas is going to keep attacking them.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's kind of a dumb point, because they would need arms in the case of like Hamas attack.